think it's a right fight. Challenges when things have not been done before. I love what you're doing. So just thank you. Thank you for that. Are you taking a photo of the...
Taking a photo.
Yeah. On September 23rd on a Friday, and we finally got the lower grades of the middle school and the lower high school to have a platform to create short films about global issues that will be shown on September 23rd. And tomorrow we're actually going to be giving a presentation in front of all the middle school and almost all the high school, presenting this idea. And by next week, we're hoping to get these films and take a look and see which ones are really amazing and can be shown at the potluck.
Yeah, and then we will have a big screening the films which are like selected from the film competition, and we will have food, right?
Yes.
So right now, Sejin and Sally is working on to making like posters and stuff for advertisement, and I'm also working with the marketing team in our school so that make sure we are getting supports from the school as well.
I think you'll be doing this naturally, but particularly to be, as well as vetting their quality or whatever it is that is your standards, also just trying to understand how the messages clump together, and also the messages of hope. Because I've been, probably like some of you, I've been to film festivals where need was communicated, but hope and response wasn't. And sometimes you can leave, I could imagine that you could leave a potluck feeling a little bit discouraged, that the world is what we see, and that there seems to be little one can do. And so I think even as you're speaking, for example, to the school tomorrow and you're pitching the ideas, I would be encouraging you to be helping them think through. I think I may have mentioned this to you, but under our simulations, there are 3 values that drive us. The first was something we realized that we're an NGO. We should have known this, right? But we just realized as we were doing the simulations that information alone doesn't always change people's behavior, right? If I just give them information about the environment, or I give them information about refugees, I give them information about the poor, they've just got information, right? But what we began to realize is that when someone cares, when empathy kicks in, when people care about an issue, then they want to respond. So the information doesn't always make them care, but when they care, now they want to respond. But just because they care, it doesn't always mean that they know what to do. Right now they care, but I don't know what to do with my care. I care, but and then the third step is to help link it through to action or engagement in a relevant way. And so I think even if you are setting the vision tomorrow in the assembly or those kinds of things, helping them think through not just awareness of a global issue, but helping them link through to this, helping people care through stories, through personal interactions, and then helping link it through to action. So what can I do? What can we do? What can my family do? How can I respond? Because then when you're at the potluck, my guess is that there will be a greater sense of like, whoa, look at that. We came out of this not only with a deliciously full stomach, but with an understanding, greater understanding of issues and how I can change the world. And that's going to be a dynamite potluck, in my humble opinion. So I just throw that out there, just as some thoughts. And just a final summary for you as you're sort of vetting them. You may also find the empathy and engagement pieces. They may not always be present in the films, but if you guys, the role of emceeing the movie night will also be the role of guiding people's hearts. So it's not just the MC role is not just going to be, oh, hey, the next video is put on by 4 students and da-da-da-da-da. No, it will be partly that, but it will be helping set the audience. You know, it's like expectation management. So you're going to be starting off and saying, you know what, we all feel deeply about environmental issues. Well, here's a story about a fish that blah, 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 the second graders have put together. But then at the end, but then at the end, you're still linking these things together so that it makes sense to the audience about empathy and then how they can respond. And so whether you however you cluster them by environment or whatever it is, that MC's role is going to be an important emotional guider for the people. Anyhow, just last thought to bubble in my mind, and I'll stop. It's just to say, be conscious. For me, one of the most complicated events, not in a bad way, but is family events. Because family events, you've got different audiences and attention spans, but you've also got different levels of exposure to global issues, right? So things like prostitution and some of the human trafficking, some of that stuff you can't share deeply with younger kids, even though, you could, at a light level. And I think just remembering your audience as well, maybe saying this next one has parental discretion advised or these kinds of things, just so that you're thinking about the audience spread, even as we sort of come into it. Anyhow, those were just a few thoughts. I'm sorry, it was many things rambled together, and I don't want to detract from lunch.
No, I have a question.
Awesome.
I have one question for both.
With how that's gonna look.
I think I may have explained it to you over the summer, David, but I'm sure it's probably not as clear as it was when I did explain it. It's been a while. So basically, for the film competition, we're using that as a platform to gather films to be viewed at the potluck, but also at the potluck, it's not only about connecting these issues and discussing these issues and, creating a lovely outdoor eating arrangement, but also to promote the 24-hour fast. We were thinking of perhaps maybe having intervals throughout, like the 3 hours this thing is going to be, and just give time to remind the audience, hey, look, we're going to be fasting next week. If you want to sponsor or be a part of this, please sign up on this sign-up sheet or this electronic platform that we provided for you. So that's basically more, I guess, of the recent ideas that have emerged in this period of time.
In some ways, the whole evening, all the videos are going to be about different topics, right?
Yes.
So in a way, the whole evening is not pointing towards the fast.
No.
Like all the videos will be about environment and those kinds of things. And I think still, you don't never know what seeds people are going to take away and let germinate, right? It could be that the second grade story on fish is one that some family takes away and then someone else takes something else away, right? You don't know. But I think one of the things that would be hard is that many people would feel like, I don't know what to do. I want to help, but I don't know how. And so being able to even say from the front, hey, some of you may be thinking, dude, what can I do to support something? Well, as it so happens, coming next week, there are a brave group of travelers who have agreed to 24 hours of whatever, so that we can be donating money to groups that look at these categories or one category or whatever it is. And so I think for me, I don't think it needs to be a hard sell, like every 30 minutes, we're going to have another group of people wandering around mugging you for money. But it can be, dude, I know what's in your heart. You like this. If you want to respond, remember, you can go to WWF and donate money to the Worldwide Foundation. You can do recycling, but again, don't forget, we got the fasters as well, and we're going to be raising money here in Beijing for blah, blah, blah. So it's just that again, you can tie that in the MC role into that kind of thing. But I think it's an excellent way. When people do simulations here with us, the thing that ultimately we would love is for them to go back and where we work with them is to look at what can they do as like a company, and how do we help companies actually change, or how do we help the family, or how do we help the person actually, they want to change their job and go into, there's all sorts of deeper conversations, but at some level too, sometimes people just want to give $20, right? And that's what they feel comfortable with now. And I think that the fasting thing is cool. And I don't know which websites you looked at to download the sponsorship things, but one thing that's kind of cool is when you get people to sponsor you per hour, because it usually can end up being more at the end than if you just say, can you sponsor me to do 24 hours versus if you sponsor me per hour.
Yeah, we were
because then people... Say again?
We were thinking of doing that.
Yeah, because people often like, I'll just give, and then they'll say some number, but you multiply it across 24, and it's not a bad number. And if you have your mom, always pick on your parents first. If you have your mom or someone, to like the first 2 or 3 people, they set the bar pretty high. Like, I'm going to sponsor you like 20 kwai an hour or something like that. And then the next person, they're like, okay, I was going to do 2 kwai an hour, but now I got to do 10. Or, you know what I mean? Like this. So some of those things can be helpful. Anyhow,
You're so
great.
good.
No, I think it's a wonderful thing.
Cool.
Yay.
Yay.
See you guys.
Bye.